All right, so something that you see me write a lot of is the classification of matter. So matter can either be a pure substance or a mixture. On the left we have pure substances. If it's a pure substance, it can either have atoms of all the same type, that's an element, or we're going to talk more about the pure substances can be a compound. And then alternatively, if it's not a pure substance, that matter must be a mixture. It can be a homogeneous, well-mixed mixture, or heterogeneous, a chunky mixture. So now focusing a little bit more on compounds. I said that actually compounds, you can go back and forth between an element and a compound, okay, by what some sort of chemical reaction, CHMRXN, standing for some sort of chemical reaction. So elements can be built up into compounds, and compounds can be broken down to elements. And so that's actually kind of one of the things that's being talked about here on this slide. It can be broken down into simpler forms, that's elements, or smaller molecules, I guess, by ordinary means. Ordinary, that's your chemical reaction, CHMRXN. Now, we have ordinary chemical reactions, and then we have extraordinary chemical reactions. I guess the extraordinary would be the nuclear chemical reactions, and we're not talking about that. Just ordinary chemical reactions where the atoms you start with are the atoms that you end with. So, that's that. Now, a compound has a repeating unit. Usually we talk about these repeating units being a molecule, but I'm going to talk about another type of compound, or a type of compound where the repeating unit actually is called a formula unit instead of a molecule. So I'll try to kind of talk about there are two types of compounds. All right, down here this last one simply says that you have two or more atoms of different types of elements, okay, that are chemically combined, so they're stuck together. This is different than that webbing, that intermolecular bonds. These are chemical bonds. And we'll talk more about the chemical bond that keeps molecules or formula units together later. Notice that compounds have a definite structure. So the compound for water is H2O. So the structure is what? 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. So that's kind of how that all works. Here are some formulas for some compounds. Water, H2O, carbon dioxide, CO2, ethane, C2H6, calcium sulfate, CaSO4. So one of the things, actually it's coming up on the next slide, but notice that for instance with water, H2O, we don't put a 1 there next to the oxygen, and if there is no number then it's implied, it's just a 1. Okay?